Hey guys, welcome to the fourth episode of Sports Talk. I'm joined by my man Barry Lewis. I'm Adrian Sonange as always, and we're going to be talking about our picks from last night's games as well as our picks today. And Barry, I'm not sure if you looked or not, but you actually did better than I did on both accounts. Hockey, you went 4-4. I went 2-6, and then in basketball, we both went 2-3. So hopefully
caught up a little bit on your lead there. That's good to see.
Absolutely, you did. I'm looking right now, and I'm 12-11 in hockey. You're 14-9. I'm 17-14 in basketball. You're 13-18. So I think there's a very clear line of who
picks
is where.
what. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
Watch it come down to Sunday night's Super Bowl. That'll be our tiebreaker. Just watch that happen.
That's exactly what's going to happen too. I can almost guarantee it. But let's jump right into it, shall we?
Yep.
So the first game of the night in hockey, we have Florida taking on Nashville, with Florida being a 1-point favorite.
Man,
I'm curious because
Philip Forsberg went off yesterday.
Did he?
And it was gross. And he reminds everybody every time I doubt Nashville how great of a player he is. Like, he pulled off the Michigan last year in Edmonton, which made me sad. But I mean, he's unreal. I still like Florida in the future here, but I think I'll go Nashville tonight.
I'm taking Nashville as well. They've been playing pretty hot as of late. So, second game of the night, we have Boston, the Bruins, taking on Philadelphia, with Boston being a 1-point favorite. And with what happened the other night, I'm inclined to stop betting against Boston.
Oh, man. When they got Pasta back, that is just a shot of adrenaline to that team that they needed. And he is such a life bringer of that team. As much as Patrice and Marchand are great, him being in the lineup just amps everybody up. So you got to go with the Bruins on that one.
I'm taking Boston as well. And, I'm starting to hate Brad Marchand even more than I did before because that dude is a rat.
Oh, man.
But he's a rat that'll get you, 30 a year, and that's hard to come by these days.
I think that's what makes him more hated. He reminds me of Ty Domi, and everyone hated Ty Domi, but they were like, okay, he's just going to go out and fight. It's fine. And then Marchand will, fight and make you mad, and then he'll drop a hat trick, and it's like, come on.
He won't even fight. He just, I don't know. He reminds me a lot more of Sean Avery if Sean Avery could score, so.
That's fair, yeah. He hasn't turned around and waved his stick in someone's face yet, so that's good.
But that's because Broder retired, so. The third game of the night, we have Detroit taking on Tampa Bay, with Tampa Bay once again being a 1-point favorite. Again, I think that one's just a gimme.
That's a Tampa win.
Yeah, we both agreed on Wednesday that Tampa is just they're too dominant. Detroit's not as bad as they were last year, but they still have a lot of
they have
a long hill ahead.
Yeah,
exactly.
Love what they're doing, but they still got a long way to go.
Exactly, and I mean they have promising stars. Dylan Larkin, he's been crazy good. So
Tyler Bertuzzi is nice too. So
yeah, Bertuzzi
I like where they're going.
is a nice guy.
They have some good guys in their system too, but they just got to come up and develop. It's going to be a slow, painful come up, but once they're up, they'll be the Red Wings of old again.
Second last game of the night, we have San Jose taking on Anaheim, with San Jose being a 1-point favorite, and I'm not sure on this one actually.
I'm not.
This one can honestly go either way.
This one I can see really going to either. I really like the Ducks' future with Trevor Zegras and Jamie Drysdale. Those two are just nuts. Zegras scored a dirty goal in an AHL shootout where he just made the goalie look lost. And then, but I feel like the roster now isn't as good as it can be, and the Sharks with Brett Burns, I feel like they can just handle the Ducks offensively. So for that, I'm going to go with the Sharks.
I'm going San Jose as well. They have too much firepower on the defensive end, which is strange to say. So
it is, yeah.
Last game of the night, we have LA taking on Vegas, with Vegas being a 1-point favorite.
This one, This one might come as a surprise. I'm probably gonna go with the Kings here,
Oh,
just
really?
because
Okay.
just because Vegas has been on their COVID offs for the past couple of games, and Kings have been pulling some wins together. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Kings are riding a bit of a high right now, and then with Vegas coming out cold like they are from their COVID stint, I think the Kings could steal one today.
I was originally scribbling down here Vegas, but I never really thought about those COVID blues. So you're making a pretty good point. The Kings are a scrappy team. Vegas is coming in kind of cold. It's just a recipe almost for disaster for Vegas. So I
Yeah,
think you make a pretty salient point there. So you know what? Looks like we're matching across the board. We're taking
there we
Nashville,
go.
Boston, Tampa, San Jose, and
And
LA.
LA. Vegas does have the firepower to get over a COVID slump. But I feel like once
Hmm.
you're off for a long time and the team you're playing has put together some wins and really has chemistry, that's just tough for any team to be honest. So I feel like the Kings can pull it out today.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's shift our focus to basketball. The first game of the night is New Orleans taking on Indiana, with Indiana, the Pacers, being a 5-point favorite.
Hmm. I bet against my boy Zion last time, and it bit me in the heels, and he drops 27 and 9. He was gross. So I'm gonna go with New Orleans, the Pels, today over
Okay.
Pacers.
The Pacers are scrappy, so I'm taking the Pacers on this one. I think the 5-point spread is a bit heavy, but I'm taking the Pacers on this one. The second game of the night is Chicago taking on Orlando, with Orlando being the underdogs by 2.5 points. The favorites are Chicago. So I think that Chicago still needs to get their act together. So I'm going to take Orlando in this one.
I think Orlando is a stronger team, oddly enough to say. They have impressed me through the beginning stint of this year. And I think you're right, the Bulls still have to figure their stuff out. So I'm going to go with Orlando as well.
Perfect. Our third game of the night, we have Toronto taking on Brooklyn, with Brooklyn being five
Uh,
and a half point favorites. That's going to be a good game.
this is the game to watch, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
man.
looking through the slate
This
of
is
games.
it'll be a stiff test with Toronto. But the Knicks are so inconsistent offensive. Well, not offensively, defensively. They have
Hmm.
the firepower offensively, but I feel like Toronto can match them. I really do. And if Toronto brings their defense, they can make noise. And I really want to take Toronto, so I think I will. I'll go the Raptors.
You're taking Toronto. I'm still kind of bummed that Brooklyn, smacked around my Clippers a little bit. So I think that if they can smack around the Clippers, Toronto isn't quite the team that the Clippers are. So I see that happening again. So I'm gonna take Brooklyn on this one. The next game of the night will be Milwaukee taking on Cleveland, which is going to be a massacre. And Milwaukee is 10.5 point favorites, which I think is almost
Wow.
insulting to Milwaukee.
Really? I think it will be close up until like the midway point of the second quarter, and then it will be a
Okay.
blowout. So
Okay.
I'll still say the Bucks clearly. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a tug, see if you would play it
Yeah,
there. But I'll
yeah.
take the
You're like, it's going to be
Cavs.
close until the second. I was like, second half? No, it's not going to be close. Okay, so we both in agreement. Milwaukee, 10.5.
Oh
That's
yeah.
reasonable.
Oh yeah.
The next slated game is the Utah Jazz taking on the Charlotte Hornets, with Utah being 8-point favorites. It seems heavy to me, but I don't know. I'm
Man, I don't
thinking
know.
Utah on this one. I think Donovan Mitchell is starting to get his concussion protocol stuff sorted, so that's looking promising.
Spidey Mitch, it's so hard to bet against him. And the Hornets, I like a lot of teams in the future. I'm starting to realize. I really like the Hornets' future, but Spidey is a game changer. So I'm going to go with the Jazz as well.
Okay. The next game on the list is going to be Miami taking on Washington, with Miami being 7.5 point favorites. Now, I kind of wanted to say it's going to be a slam dunk for Miami, but the last time they played Washington, they lost by one possession. So I guess anything is possible. Now, I think Miami's going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. So I think Miami's just going to blow them out, make this a statement game.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I think Miami needs to have this as a statement game because from what I've been hearing, the Wizards and them are the ones that are comparing the most to. So I think that insults Miami a bit. They made it to the finals last year, and now they're getting compared to the Wizards. So I feel like they're going to take this game personally. So I feel like the Heat are going to come out swinging today. Miami will take this one.
Okay. Next game of the night, Minnesota taking on Oklahoma City. And the Timberwolves from Minnesota are 2.5-point favorites.
Oh, man. Oh, the Thunder. I don't know what to do with you, Thunder. I bet with you and you let me down. I bet against you and you blow people out. I don't understand you. And I'm going to go with them today just because the Timberwolves' recent little bit of a struggle in the transition going up and down the floor. But I feel like the Thunder can pull this out today.
I agree with you. Minnesota's strong defensively, but can look shaky. That line isn't impenetrable, so I'm going to take OKC as well. But that's going to be a close game, I think.
That's going to be close, I think, yeah.
Second last game of the night, Phoenix taking on Detroit, with Phoenix being a 9.5-point favorite. Now, I love me some Chris Paul. I really do. The ageless wonder, I think.
Ageless wonder.
And like you keep saying, Devin Booker is, Christ reincarnate.
He's
so
a walking bucket. Here's Devin Booker.
Exactly. So I'm going to take Phoenix on this one. I don't know that spread is fair. That seems a bit heavy to me, but I'm still taking Phoenix in this one.
That seems a bit heavy. I would give the Pistons a little closer shot than that, but I think the Suns are still just going to pull it out.
Awesome. And the last game of the night, which, given current schedules and stuff like that, probably the game I'm going to watch the most of, is the Boston Celtics taking on the LA Clippers, with the Clippers being 5-point favorites. Now this one, I honestly don't know how to call this. I'm gonna kind of lean towards the Clippers, but this one is hard because the Clippers are still trying to find their groove. I think they're losing against, they're winning against good teams, but they're losing against bad teams. The Celtics, Jason Tatum, as you would say, is a walking bucket as well. Again, I believe he's going to be a perennial MVP in about 2 years here. So I honestly don't know where to call this one. I think I'm going to go with the Clippers, but it's going to be like a 2-point game, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's going to be a 2-point swing. Tatum and Brown they look like they're going to be the next great Celtics duo. And then, but with Paul George just playing possessed after Jared Dudley called him out, he brought out the old Indiana Paul George, and he just looked insane. So if he can continue that stint, I think they can be the Clippers everyone thought they were going to be. So I think, again, with you, it's going to be really close, but I think the Clippers just have that it where they're going to pull it out. They're a little bit more of a vet team than the Celtics, and then that comes out in close games. So I feel like Kawhi is going to pull this one out with the Clippers.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Barry. Guys, that is our 4th episode of Sports Talk. You heard our picks, and we'll be back tomorrow to let you know how we did. Take care.